Hey guys, welcome back. First of all, apologies for being late. I got sick for a few days, but I'm recovering now and hopefully I can make more videos very soon. Alright, so a lot of things to talk about. First of all, Kuroo is finally out as our second UR character in the game, and we're gonna talk about him, his skills, and full reviews. And then we're gonna talk about different team formations and also finally, should you pull or not. Alright, so let's talk about Kuroo. First of all, he's from Nekoma team. Obviously, as you can see, we have this deployment bond with SSR Kenma. So when they're both on the field, you can cast Quick Spike, Skill Brain, and Control Power. So if you don't know the stats of this, you can just go back and go to the bond. So go to the gallery, bond over here, go to Nekoma. And then on the second page, you can see here the deployment bond, brain, and control tower. And as you can see here, 265% of the quick attack stat as power. That's the stat for this bond skill effect. So this is a really high amount of number. As you can see, Ushijima, let's just go back to him over here on the player side. Ushijima's ult is only 250. So 265 as like a quick spike could be really insane. And then you could easily level it up to level 5, 325. You just have to level up these characters. So let's say even if you just do level 3, that's 295, almost 300% quick attack type. So this is insane, right? This deployment bond is really great. And then Kenma is also a setter. You can use both of them together. And there's also a select recruit banner over here for Kenma again, and I'm gonna talk about this in details in my next video, so make sure you don't miss that one. Now let's go back to Kuroo. So that was the deployment bond, which is a great one, obviously. And then he has this passive that increases quick stat by 10% again, so he's a quick type player. Increases this by 10%, and each time the ball crosses, and that increases his block and quick attack stat by 5% up to 5 stats, so that will be 25%. And if you level it up, this will go to 14. So this is a crazy passive. And then over here, the active regular skill is 125% of quick attack stat as power, and then receive 1 stack of power charge. And each of that increases a quick attack spike power by 5% up to 3 stacks, so 15% over here on top of this one. And then when you go to the fourth skill, the second passive increases Kuroo's block stat by 14%. When Kuroo achieves a perfect block result, which is highly likely actually, applies enrage debuff to the opponent, so reduces power and quick attack stats by 10%. So if you think of this one, let's just quickly go to Tsukishima as the second middle blocker in your team. Over here also applies the enrage debuff to the enemy with his ult. So they both have this, but Tsukishima has it on his ultimate, which is harder to, like, you can't do back-to-back ultimates at the beginning. So over here, Kuroo has it on his skill, on his passive, sorry. So if you unlock this one, obviously you can have this like all the time. And then over here, the ultimate, again, a gigantic block. When the opponent's spiking player is affected by a debuff, which you can have it with his passive or with other players, then increases this block's power by additional 20%. So that's a really high debuff. It could go up to almost like more than 300. So that's like his skills over here. Now if you just go to the skill resonance, if you dupe him out, like, you need 2 dupes. So the first skill resonance, when you have skill level 4, total skill level is 4, which means you need to unlock the 4th skill. So you have level 1 for each of the skills. So in total, that will be level 4. You will unlock this one, increases basic stats. But then if you can upgrade 2 of the skills, so you need 2 dupes, or the universal dupe ones, like the I think it's the healthy banana milk or something, then you can have, or just getting dupes of him, 2 dupes of him, you can have this one reduce cooldown to 0 net crossing. So it was a spike skill over here. And then you can do this attack back to back. So this is also something that is super useful. Obviously, duping him out would help you out a lot. All right, so this is what Kuroo does, and as you can see, he's a great defender with his block, and also he has a great amount of attack with his skill, like the active skill, with his deployment bond and everything. Now, when we talk about the team, first of all, a huge shout out to the Hakon. I think I'm pronouncing it right. The Hakon, he created this team builder that you can see over here with all the details and information. And he also shared it in our Discord server. So thanks to him, a huge shout out to him. We can, build different teams with all the synergies, bonds, and stats and everything. So great job. And look, I'm gonna use this for the team build over here. As you can see, we have the middle blocker Kuroo, we have Kenma as a setter, and we have this deployment bond that we just talked about. And then you can have different players. So if we go for all nekoma team, we have Lev as a second middle blocker, and then we don't have any SSR nekoma team player at the moment. So if you just go for a wing spiker like Yamamoto, so you can see all the stat buffs over here, Yamamoto and Kenma. You can have increased set stats for Kenma, and then Lev and Kenma, you can have increased block for Lev. And then again, if you have Yamamoto and Tanaka, so the friends bond, you can increase power attack for both of them. That's why I put Tanaka here. Obviously, Tanaka and Nishinoya also get the Kyoko's Knights when scoring increases team morale additionally. So this is also super important. And then as a second, like the first UR character that we got, Yushijima, if you put him over here, he doesn't have any like bonds or buffs with other players, but obviously he has higher stats as a UR character, and then you can also just pick other characters that you want for this part, but or just do another nekoma team and then use another wing spiker over here, let's just say Asahi for example, and then you can again check the stats and everything. But obviously if you have Yamamoto over here, you'll get more stats. So we'll just talk about this. As a nekoma team, you will, if you get this bond, if you want to do 4 players from nekoma, you'll get this one. All players receive stats will increase. And also Kenma, he's also a setter that increases the receive stat. So that way you can get additional set stats for all your team with all these bonds that we talked about. But obviously you can mix and match like different players over here, but this is the main like team for Kuroo at the moment if you want to go for nekoma team to make it way useful. If not, then you can just switch this with, or even Lev, because Lev isn't that good. I mean, I would mainly recommend Tsukishima over here instead of Lev. And again, you have Tsukishima and Kuroo bond, which is way better, that you increase the block for both players, right? So this would be better, but then you won't have the school synergy for the nekoma team. And then you can just change this to maybe Asahi so that you can get the Karasuno school bond over here. So that's something that you need to consider. These are like the different teams, or even instead of if you don't have Yoshijima, you can use Daichi for example, and then you also have Daichi and Kuroo's stat buff over here. So I mean, again, this website that the Hakon built is great. You can mix and match and do different characters to see what kind of stat buffs you get over here, and that way you can also the deployment bonds, which is great, and then that way you can choose your team players. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about the teams. You can either go full nekoma, or you just go Karasuno High School and then use Kuroo with Tsukishima. And there's also one more thing, you can even go Kentaro with Iwazumi so that you can get this for the deployment bond for the wolf pack, but then the stat buffs will obviously reduce. So that's the whole thing over here. Maybe this would be the best one, like one of the best, and then instead of this you can go for full nekoma team over here, something like this. So you get 4 stat buffs, and then you get the Karasuno High School buff for this team, or you could just go with Lev and get the nekoma buff, and then all 4 of the stat buffs again. So that's something that you can mix and match, and these are the teams that are recommended for UR Kuroo at the moment. Now, let's go back to the main question, should you pull or not? So as a URMB player, we have Kuroo now, right? And then the next URMB player will be Hirogami for sure. And he will take about 4 or 5 months at least to be available. So that's a lot of time for the second URMB player. And just to give you a glimpse, Hirogami's first skill buffs up your whole team. His second skill debuffs the enemy by ending their team morale and also not letting the enemy's team to gain the team morale again. And then his passive increases block, increases receive, increases spike, and then his ultimate is also again an ultimate block. So I would say he's like Hirogami would be an easier choice to play with different characters, and then Kuroo is kind of like you need to have Kenma as a setter to get the deployment bond and other stuff. But then again, you do whatever you want. So that's one thing you need to consider. Other thing is that how many diamonds you can get. So in general, with like 2 weeks time that we have for each character, I did make a full chart for that. So obviously with every new banner you get new events. So over here you can get 5 tickets, UR tickets, and then in the Crow versus Cat you can also get 5 more over here, so 10 in total. And then if you go to your dailies, obviously the daily missions, you can get where was it? I think it was the last one, 60 over here, so 60 times 14 days for 2 weeks. And then the training program, if you do it every day, you can get in total 90 diamonds over here, again times 14. And then the weekly missions over here you can get 100, so 100 times 2. And then if you do you go to the campus kickoff, the rebate gifts, this is like your deposit, you can withdraw this for 500 diamonds. And then you check I think it was the events, yes, weekend bonus, you can get 120 over here times 2. And then the time limited match streak, so over here you can also gain rewards. Let's just say if you go to stage, we'll just be realistic, let's just do stage 5. Obviously if you go higher then you can gain more, but over here you can also get up to, like if you go to stage 5 it's like 400 diamonds, but obviously you can go higher. And then where else, I think, yeah, there was also this one, the peak challenge. So like the PvP, if you do every day, you can get diamonds over here and also your daily rankings. Let's just do the last one here, like just being in this pool, you can get 10 over here. So that's 25 in total times again 14 for 2 weeks. So as you can see, there are in total diamonds in 14 days is about like, let's just say 4,000. Because you can also get like if you do regular challenges, if you do like those one-time rewards, you can get up to like let's just say 4,000 diamonds, and each UR ticket is 150 diamonds. So in total you can see it's 24 tickets with plus 10 for the banner events, that's 34 tickets, and let's just say like 40 tickets. So 40 tickets you can get for like each banner as like just doing everything daily, and for free you can get 40 tickets to summon. Obviously that's not enough because the period is 140 and you have to see how lucky you are. I got Yushijima in 121 pools, so you know that's like 3 times this one. But so that's something that you need to consider. I mean, you can't go for every single UR character as an F2P, so you have to make a choice if you want to go for Kuroo or you already have Yushijima and it took all of your diamonds, and it's likely that you won't be able to summon for Kuroo. But if you have enough diamonds, then obviously yes, you can try your luck. So that's the diamonds thing that we talked about. Another part is when you go to your team settings, you have 2 middle blockers, right? And this rotates obviously, but then usually the libero comes in and switches with the middle blocker because they have the lowest like receive stat compared to the wing spikers. So every time one of your middle blockers will be in the game. So if you have Tsukishima as an SSR character, he's also a great one obviously, and he could replace Kuroo for now. So it's not like it's a must to pull for Kuroo, in my opinion. That's just my suggestions, right? My idea. You can do whatever you want, because then Nishinoya is gonna replace like your second middle blocker. Even if you rotate, then you're gonna lose Tsukishima and have Kuroo as your front middle blocker, right? So that's something you need to consider. I mean, it's not a must to have two great middle blockers in the game, because you're gonna use one of them because of your libero. So if you have one like Tsukishima, then you can skip Kuroo. But then again, as I said, if you want to use like if you want to go for nekoma team, or use kenma, or just do those formations that I talked about in the middle of the video, then obviously Kuroo could be really helpful, like this one. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing for Kuroo. My suggestion is, if you have Tsukishima, which you already have for sure because he was free, then you can skip Kuroo if you don't have the enough diamonds. But if you do have enough diamonds, then yes, he could be really helpful with like this team or the other teams that I just mentioned, and you can obviously use him because he's a great character. But then again, the next middle blocker, the UR one that is coming up next, will be like in 5-6 months, Hirogami, and he's also, I think he would be better than this UR Kuroo. So yeah, that's the whole thing. Hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions, and don't forget to join my Discord server as well, so we can talk over there more. In my next video, I'm gonna talk about the select recruit over here and which characters you need to pull, and details like team formations and everything for these 3 characters as well. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you won't miss a single video, and that could help me out a lot in the future. Till next time, have fun and stay tuned.